won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
FDN firefighter Daniel Foley assisted in rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. But Daniel couldn't have known then that his heroism would cost him his life more than 18 years later. His death, like so many others, resulted from 9/11 related illnesses caused by the toxic dust that formed when the Twin Towers collapsed. Victims and first responders are still suffering and dying from 9/11. Yet children in this nation are growing up unaware of America's darkest day. The Tunnel to Towers 9/11 Institute is helping educators teach children about 9/11. Tunnel to Towers 9/11 curriculum units have scripted lessons, background for teachers, and activities for students. They're based on first-person accounts and designed to meet many academic standards. The 9/11 Institute offers the Discovering Heroes book series, a speakers bureau, a mobile exhibit with 9/11 artifacts, and memorial scholarships for the children of the Foundation's program recipients. Help our nation keep its promise to never forget. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org. That's T2T.org. Hey, everybody, thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. Tonight, we are truly honored because we're joined by the Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Governor Glenn Youngkin. Governor Youngkin, thank you so much for joining us. I want to start by asking you, how are we feeling about Election Day in Virginia? As you know, we added Virginia to our battleground map a few months ago at the RNC and the Trump campaign. We've spent some time there. I was with you over the weekend there. It felt very red to me. How are you feeling?
Yeah, well, let me first thank you for coming and being with us on Saturday. There was just huge energy in that rally, and I know that you missed a basketball game, and I have great sympathy for basketball parents, and so thank you for being with us. And, you know, I was moving around the state all day, and the same energy was everywhere.
Wow.
And, you know, remember, this is a state that Joe Biden won by 10 points back in 2020, that we, in fact, were able to flip in 2021. And I don't think the Harris campaign is paying attention. They clearly don't really care about the Virginia voters because she hasn't been here. And in fact, President Trump will be here again this Saturday. It'll be the third time he's held a rally in Virginia. There is real energy, and the state is a lot more competitive than any pundits ever thought it was going to be.
And that's the thing that I continue to say to people, by the way. You have to go out there, Governor, and you have to be among the people of this country to really get a sense of what's going on. And we had experience with this in 2016. You know, all the polling indicated that it was going to be a blowout win for Hillary Clinton. And I feel like Eric and I and Don and even my father-in-law would go out there and we'd campaign across the country and we'd say there is some energy. There's something that the media hasn't tapped into, that the polling is not tapping into, that really exists out there. And I think I probably said it at our event on Saturday. We really, I feel like, have that 2016 energy right now across this country. And the fact that you, as a Republican, were able to run, as you just indicated, a few years ago in what has been a blue state for a long time, Virginia, and win as a Republican, I think is a testament to the fact that anything is possible. You have to go out and you have to ask for people's votes. And it's why Donald Trump is going to be back there this Saturday, like you just said. What is it that you're hearing from people in the state and in Virginia? You obviously know them better than anyone else. But what is it? Is it the same sort of things that kind of put you over the line, parents wanting their rights back, caring about the future for their children? What is it that you think is the main issue on the ground for Virginia voters right now?
Well, first and foremost, Virginians now have seen that common sense conservative leadership works. And they want to see it in the White House. They want strength back in the White House. And over the last 3 years here in Virginia, we've gone from bottom third in job growth to near the top of the list on job growth. And our murder stats are way down because we back the blue and we've stood for excellence in education and putting parents back in charge of their children's lives. And guess what? The state's thriving. And they want the same thing in the White House. They fully remember what it was like when Donald Trump was president and how good things were. And they've now experienced 4 years of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden with inflation unleashed at unprecedented levels and chaos around the world and chaos at the border that's turned every state into a border state. And these are the issues that voters are telling me that they are most focused on. And of course, the Harris campaign doesn't talk about any of these issues. They
Right.
just won't talk about them because, one, they're responsible for the problems. Second of all, she's already said she's going to do the same thing that Joe Biden has done. And finally, she really can't even talk about them in complete sentences. And so this is the reality of where we stand, which is voters in Virginia, and I feel it around the nation when I've had a chance to help some other candidates. Voters, Americans, want solutions, and they want solutions that make sense. And that's what Donald Trump stands for. Proven track record, common sense solutions, and bringing those solutions to the most important problems for voters.
Well, I want to compliment you because you did something that I think is really big to make sure that you didn't have any election integrity issues in your state. And I think that others could maybe take a page from what you did. And you changed a couple of things, meaning with the respect to the ballots. You have paper ballots now. You have been pushing, as have I, early voting, but I would love to see one day of voting in the future. I feel like that could pare things back a little bit in terms of questions that people have about elections. Let me ask you this. How has early voting been going in Virginia? And tell everybody maybe what you've been doing as governor to help protect the election and in dealing with the DOJ a little bit.
Yeah, well, early voting is incredibly strong, and that is a good thing. We started in 2021 recognizing that the rules were the rules, and we were going to go to compete to win. And it made a big difference in my election victory in 2021. And we've continued to press Republicans to get out and vote. Something could happen on election day.
Right.
You could get sick, or a child could get sick, or something can happen at work. And we just can't afford to lose a single vote. And we've seen really strong participation in early voting. I mean, this is one of these moments where we can go into November 5th, the final day of this election day itself, with either no margin or just a small margin to overcome on the strongest day, of course, for Republican voters. That's what it's all about. And so I'm really pleased, and I encourage everybody, get out and vote. Bank your vote so that it can elect Donald Trump president of the United States, flip the Senate, extend our majority in Congress so that we can get this country moving in the right direction again. And yeah, we did go to work to make sure that people understood that they can have trust and faith in our election process. We have paper ballots. We have counting machines, not voting machines. They're not connected to the internet. We have strong custody rules for those ballots. We make sure that our voter rolls are clean. And we have consistently gone through a legal process in Virginia over the course of my administration to make sure that if you've unfortunately passed away, you're off the voter rolls. If you've moved away, you're off the voter rolls. And if you had self-identified as a non-citizen in one of our DNVs, we go through a process that's been on the books since 2006 to give you the ability to affirm that you're a citizen. And if not, you come off the voter rolls. Of course, this morning, that when we're talking about this, we expect to hear from the Supreme Court over the course of the day with regards to the injunction that has required us to put non-citizens back on the voter rolls in Virginia during this period that they claim they shouldn't have come off. I firmly believe that non-citizens should not be on the voter rolls.
Imagine
the process that we have run has been constitutionally consistent. It's been consistent with law. And of course, we will do what we are forced to do. But I believe what we've done is wholly consistent with the Constitution and Virginia's law.
So just so people understand, and this is my understanding as well, please correct me, Governor, if I'm wrong on this. What you're describing right there and what you were referencing, that hopefully over the course of the day, we're recording this this interview in the morning, but over the course of today, you should get some sort of an answer on this. What happened, if I have it right, is that whenever people went to register with the DMV, they were able to mark that they were a non-citizen, meaning someone who should not be able to vote in our federal elections, on their application. And somehow those people have the ability right now to vote in Virginia, and they should not. You basically said these people shouldn't be here, and somehow you were overruled in that. And that's what's in question right now to a certain extent. Obviously, we know American citizens should only be the ones who vote in American elections. That is a very strongly supported thing on both sides of the aisle. It's a bipartisan issue, and I think everybody agrees with that. But is that correct? That's how this all came about? Ladies, wouldn't it be amazing to support a skincare company that shares our values and celebrates faith, family, and freedom, and proudly stands behind Christian and conservative causes? Well, I have found the perfect skincare brand, and it's called Nimi. Nimi offers simplified daily routines that cleanse, brighten, protect, and help fight the key signs of aging. You can literally just clear out your cabinet and replace all of your miscellaneous products with an effective routine from Nimi. Nimi offers clean, effective skincare proudly made in the USA that stands strong against the woke, progressive beauty companies who back anti-American causes. Nimi has luxurious skincare for all skin types, offering cleansers, toners, moisturizers, serums, and more. I personally love Nimi's Clean line as it offers high-end, clean skincare products that are free from fragrances and other chemicals that may disrupt your skin's natural microbiome. Build a custom bundle and save up to 20% off your routine. Plus, use code LARA, L-A-R-A, for an additional 15% off. Visit NimiSkincare.com, that's N-I-M-I skincare.com, to elevate your routine with America's skincare company, or click the link below in the bio to save big on your order using code LARA today for a discount of 15%. Okay, you've heard me talk about sleep cream the last several weeks. Sleep is one of, if not the most important element in being able to function day to day. And most of us, including me, do not get enough quality sleep with the amount of daily stress or insane schedules that we're all keeping. Here's what I found to help me sleep better: sleep cream. It's not a drug. It's not a prescription. It's a cream. I just rub it on when I'm ready to turn in for the night, and within a few minutes, it helps me relax and allows my body to do what it is supposed to do: sleep. Take my word, I am sleeping great when I have time for it. Sleep cream is all natural CBD with essential oils and a great lavender scent that I can't recommend enough. Try sleep cream for a couple of nights and see if it works for you as well as it did for me. If you don't sleep better from using it, sleep cream will refund your purchase and you don't even have to return it. Totally risk-free. Go to sleepcream.com. That's sleepcream.com. Sleep, CREME.com. And as a bonus, use code November24 at checkout to save $24 off your first order. That's November24, all one word, at checkout. Get your best sleep ever with Sleep Cream at sleepcream.com.
It is. Someone walks into our DMV, they're getting a temporary driver's license, and which is allowed in Virginia if you are not a citizen because of bills passed by previous administrations. And in that process, they are asked a question: are you a citizen or a non-citizen? These folks have identified themselves as non-citizens, and yet either by accident or purposefully, they've ended up on the voter rolls. And our process, which has been running literally for 18 years and has been running effectively, and we, of course, have run it during our administration, continues all the way up through usually about a month before Election Day, to give people the ability, when we notify them and say, hey, you've got to affirm you're a citizen, otherwise we're taking you off the voter rolls. And if they don't affirm they're a citizen, then they come off the voter rolls. That's common sense. That's what the Justice Department filed suit against Virginia for. And of course, the federal district court ruled with the Justice Department that we had to put roughly 1,600 people who had self-identified as non-citizens back on the voter rolls. And that's why we've appealed it all the way up to the Supreme Court, which we hope to hear from today. At the big picture, we need to make sure that we pass federal legislation, like Speaker Johnson was sponsoring, that forces people to demonstrate they are a U.S. citizen in order to register to vote. And that is the clarity that we need in all 50 states so that we understand that you have to demonstrate you're a citizen to get on the voter rolls, and just be crystal clear about this and take all of this ambiguity out. Our process in Virginia will be trusted. It will be accurate. It will reflect the will of the voters, because that's what I have pledged to do. But we do need federal legislation, which goes back to why we need to extend our majority in the House. We need to flip the Senate, and we need to elect Donald Trump president of the United States.
Well, with that in mind, I met a couple of candidates who are running there, one for Senate and one to keep his seat in the House whenever I was with you this weekend in Virginia. Maybe you can give our viewers in Virginia who might be watching this information on some of the candidates for whom they should be voting. And vote early, of course. We can do this all the way up to Saturday if you are in Virginia. Can you give them maybe a little cheat sheet in terms of how they might want to vote this election? Well,
let's just start. Elect Donald Trump president and J.D. Vance vice president.
Yes.
That's the first goal.
Agreed.
Second of all, we have a great Senate candidate, Hung Cao. He is a Navy hero, special ops diver, and he served 25 years in the military. But on top of that, he understands what it means to believe in the constitutional foundations of this nation. He and his family fled Vietnam right at the end of the Vietnam War, and this is a true hero. And so vote for Hung Cao for Senate. We have two races, particularly that we're particularly focused on in the congressional seats. In our seventh, Derek Anderson is running in an open seat. That's the area between roughly Richmond and D.C. In the I-95 corridor. Derek Anderson is a Green Beret. He is a war hero. He understands what it means to get prices down and control inflation, and to put real strength back in our foreign policy so that we don't have wars, and of course to secure our border. And then finally, in our second congressional district, Congressman Jen Kiggins, who is our incumbent, we are working to reelect. This is a seat that has flip-flopped back and forth over the last cycles. Jen Kiggins was able to win it in 2022, and we're working to make sure that she keeps her seat. We have great candidates running all across the Commonwealth, but those are some particular seats that we are working really hard to make sure we win.
All right. I hope everybody was taking notes in Virginia. Just to round us out here, Governor, there are still some people, I'm not sure how, but they still have not yet made their decision in terms of how they're voting at the top of the ticket and maybe all the way down the ticket. What would be your message to voters right now, not just in Virginia, but really all across the country, on getting out to vote and really what's at stake in this election?
Yeah, I think you have to begin by asking yourself a question. Were you and your family better off during Donald Trump's administration or now? And the clear answer I have heard over and over and over again from voters is they were much better off during Donald Trump's administration. Inflation has been unleashed, and it's a gut punch anytime anyone goes to the grocery store or has to pay their utility bill or tries to buy a house or pay a rental payment. The economy is the number one issue, and President Trump understands how to build that rip-roaring economy with high growth and low inflation, as opposed to what we've seen from the Biden-Harris administration, which is low growth and high inflation. Second of all, you must pay attention to what's happened at the border. The border is the biggest national security issue, maybe in America's history, as literally tens of millions of illegal immigrants have streamed over the border, turning every state into a border state. And we must secure the border, and we have to take on these criminal elements that have come into America, these terrorists who have come into America. I mean, we have violent crime committed by illegal immigrants. We had 2 Jordanian illegal immigrants try to crash the front gates at Marine Corps Base Quantico in a box truck. I mean, this is real, and we have to secure our border, and we know that President Trump will secure it, and we know that Kamala Harris, our border czar, won't. And then finally, America has to be strong. We have to have strong energy policy. We have to have a strong projected presence in the world in order to not have wars. President Trump understands this. I firmly believe that if he were our president now, we would not have war in Ukraine. We would not have war in the Middle East. China would not be threatening Taiwan. And we would be back to a moment where there were no wars that were started during his presidency. This is a moment for Americans to really understand that the future is on the ballot, and to simply listen to what Kamala Harris is trying to sell Americans is not a future. It's just fear. And we are not a nation of fear. We are a nation of leaders. And it's time for America to lead again. Vote early. Make sure your ballot is cast for President Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and the Republicans down the ticket in your jurisdiction.
Well, I want to just clip that up and send it out to everybody in the entire country. I thought that was wonderful. Before I let you go, and you've been very generous with your time, thank you for spending some time with us today. You know, I got to see firsthand how much the people in Virginia absolutely love you. I think that people were so shocked by your win whenever you became governor of the state. You have done an incredible job. And I know people probably tell you that a lot, but, you know, for those of us who don't live in the Commonwealth of Virginia, we can see it out there. And I just wonder, first of all, coming into the space of governor, you know, and taking on this role, how have you enjoyed it? And what's the plan for you after this? Because I think people see really big things in your future. You've certainly, I think, shown that you can go anywhere and you can do an incredible job, even in places that people maybe don't suspect is possible, like Virginia. I don't think anybody saw your win coming, if they were being honest. And I think you've done an incredible job there. Well,
you're very, very kind. Thank you. I have loved serving Virginians. You know, I was a business person for 30 years. And stood up one day and quit my job and committed to run for governor and serve if Virginians elected me. And I just want to thank Virginians for hiring me. And we've gone to work. And I think my biggest encouragement is that common sense conservative leadership works. And when people see it working, they want more of it. And yes, there's this theoretical moments where we have Republicans and Democrats debating things. But at the end of the day, what we've seen in Virginia is that common sense conservative policies work and people like it. We've also seen it at the federal level. We've seen common sense conservative policies under a President Donald Trump, and we have seen chaos unleashed under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And so Virginia voters and, of course, America's voters have a chance to vote for common sense again. And that's why I'm so passionate about this election. That's why I believe that Virginia is more competitive than any of the pundits would have possibly believed, is because even those voters who might not particularly initially want to vote for an R, they do. And in fact, this weekend, 2 days ago, I'm at an event and a gentleman comes up to me and he said to me, "Governor, I just want to tell you, I am a Democrat, but I watched the president on Joe Rogan and now I'm convinced and I'm going to vote for him." It works. People want to be asked for their vote. They want to understand why they should vote for a particular person, and they want to understand what they're going to do in order to deliver on their top priorities. That's why President Trump being here on Saturday is so important, yet again, asking Virginians to vote for him for president, and I look forward to that rally.
Well, keep up the awesome work. Thank you for all you're doing out there, and continue inspiring everybody in Virginia to get out and vote. I know that Donald Trump is very excited to be there with everyone this Saturday. So Governor Glenn Youngkin, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate everything you're doing. And to everybody at home, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. We'll see you back here next time for more of The Right View.
And I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.